All right, click the links. Join channel here over at Subscribestar. So the Marvels ends its proper theatrical run as lowest performing entry of the entire MCU. Disney to stop reporting weekend grosses. Brie Larson's giant opening scares the audience away. The thing is, nobody involved in this movie cares that it failed. The movie bombed, but all the actors involved in it, they're going to fail upwards, and especially the director, because she's the director. She's the first POC director involved in a movie at this scale. And you look at them, they're all like, the movie failed. You know that, right? It's the biggest budget for a POC, a Poxwox woman or something. Yeah, the movie lost money. It's going to lose a lot of money. That's not something to brag about. You don't understand the numbers. The only thing we understand are the numbers. They're big numbers. Yeah, but they're written in red ink. That means they have a minus in front of them. Back when they wrote things in ink, it lost money. They don't seem to understand that movies need to make money. So the copium from the soy boys on Twitter over Brie, I hate white people, Larson's crappy movie is something to see. They ask why it bombed. We say it was woke cancer, and they respond with, "Well, there it is." As if they just dropped a bomb in the room and oh well, they really showed their face there. It's woke. What part of woke don't you understand? And then they go, oh well, you can't take anything seriously from someone who uses that word. Or yikes, my guy, what is woke? Define it. So I do. It's a loose umbrella term. It can include themes of anti-white hatred, anti-national themes, globalist propaganda, misandry. That's just some of the rough definitions of it. And when you actually give them an answer, those things don't exist. Well, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to have to agree to disagree, I guess. You can come up with your own reasons as to why it failed then. Why the Marvel failed was too much diversity and too much vagina power. And they lose their minds when I say this. Some of them are actually incapable of discussion without straw man and ad hominem arguments. And even when you point it out to them, they come back with more ad homs because they really don't understand how reasonable people can agree to disagree or have discussions without acting like children. They don't talk about what they liked about the movie because a lot of them didn't see the movie. Not a whole lot of people saw this movie. And the thing is, when I give my reason why it was, we'll say, silly and frivolous, this type of thing, they get mad at me for just explaining why a large percentage of people decided to tune out of this movie. But I actually saw the movie. I didn't like the diversity or the girl power. And there's no comeback to that. There's no ad hominem that matters. It doesn't matter how stupid you think the customer's reason was. The only thing that matters is people's perception, which I guess, actually to be more accurate, is to say that people didn't even see it, not why they saw it and didn't like it. The issue is that they didn't even get to the theater in the first place to see it. So what was their perception in people's mind that made them decide that this wasn't even worth going to the theater, not even for a matinee at half price? And I calmly explain that one of the reasons, it's not the only reason. I mean, in their defense, the whole Marvel's vibe is over because wasn't it 2020 when the last big Avengers movie ended? What was it called? I don't even remember what it's called. Those movies are in and out of my mind so quickly. But that was a couple years ago where I think they killed off half the characters. Why would you do that and then continue to keep making movies after that? In fact, one of them was a prequel with a deceased character, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. If you're going to continue this universe, you should put off an ending like that for a long time. What were you thinking? That none of that. I assumed, okay, well they did that big finish. You're going to wait a couple years and then reboot the characters. Nope, we're going to just keep making movies. It feels like there's nobody with a long-term master plan at Marvel's Disney, which might be the case. Anyway, so I explained one of my reasons was, there was that reason too. Okay, people are just kind of out of the Marvel universe, though I don't think the DC universe is doing any better, and they didn't have that kind of big ending. But my personal reasons are diversity is cancer, or at least to be fair, as I've been corrected in the audience, is the way Disney writes it is cancer. Like I said, if you want me to write a movie, I can write a diverse movie, but you have to make them the good guys. You have to make all people the good guys and the bad guys. It has to be fair. You can't just make blonde hair guy bad and the POC good. And I tell them this and they look at me like, we just can't do that in this current environment. I look at them and go, Disney, you're a $150 billion company. You can do almost anything you want. If you decided to have a come to Jesus moment, which for them is a come to Moloch moment, which is kind of another concept, they could do it if they wanted to. They go, you know what? Hey, we're going to release a different kind of movie. We've been a little bit weird to admit what they've been doing in the past to make all the bad guys people look like me. We're gonna do something different. They're the biggest company. They're a huge entertainment company with a long, a lot of name recognition. They have a distribution network. They have the most talented people. They have access to everything. They can do almost anything they want. And if they wanted to start making the bad guys and the good guys be a little bit more fairly balanced, they could do it. They don't want to do it. So for me, diversity as Disney does it is cancer. It doesn't have to be, but the thing is, the people who are writing these movies are terrified of the Twitter response if they made a POC character, if they made a fair apportionment of POCs to people of the light. They would just lose their mind. And the thing is, they're not acting out of fear. Like, they really believe this. This is a religion to these people. So, and the vagina power stuff is silly. The girl power stuff. And they go, oh, so you just hate women? You don't want to see women? No, that's a straw man. What I meant by that is the way they're portrayed on screen. The audience isn't into it. It's not just me, one person saying this. I represent not hundreds. I represent millions of people, maybe tens of millions of people who don't want to see women portrayed this way. You can have women in the movies, yes. In this portrayal, no. And they respond with an emotional outburst because most of them are children in adult bodies. And to be honest, a lot of them are to the left of the bell curve. So they go crazy trying to defend a billion-dollar anti-white propaganda company known as Disney. They hate corporations, except the ones that push their propaganda, which is all of Hollywood. And then they get emotional because when you criticize Hollywood, they know that they know that you're criticizing their lame globalist philosophy. So these soy Twitter idiots are in the position of defending Disney because it's pushing some woke propaganda, whatever's popular at the moment. I mean, I don't know. Have they worked the trans stuff into Disney yet? I don't really remember. But they don't. That might even be a bridge too far for Disney. But it wasn't too far for Doctor Who. Good luck with that. But they don't actually go to the theaters because the Marvels is not worth the $15 to $20 because it looks lame. Why does it look lame? Because it has 3 vagina people and a bunch of POCs. And even the soy boys and college lesbians and the Birkenstocks know that Mary Sues are going to be boring characters. Subconsciously, they know that if they see a darker toned character, there's simply going to be, it's like a simple correlation of a spectrum of light to dark, where the lighter character can have flaws. They can have multifaceted character development. They can have nuance because you can make them good and bad, and you can give them a character arc simply because they're not a POC. So they can be like Robert Downey Jr. was a guy, Tony Stark in Iron Man 2008, where he was an alcoholic and he was kind of a jerk, and then he had a growing, a moment, and he had to take on more responsibility, and he owed a duty to the world, and you saw a little bit of a character. I mean, it was just still a silly, stupid, fun Marvel movie, but there was a little development in there. And like I say, with 2008, where the bad guys in the Middle East were from that region, and then with Black Adam with Dwayne Johnson, where the bad guys they made them English. It's like, whoa, that's one of the reasons why the movie failed. It's not the total reason. It's there's a lot of pieces to this Matrix puzzle why movies fail, but the woke stuff is there. And the thing is, even the like CBR is starting to mention that some people complain about some of the woke elements, but thank God they're all Hugo Boss, Roman saluting people, and we can just discount their views whatsoever. But at least they're starting to mention that some people are criticizing the woke issues. They won't go any further than that, and it's like, whatever. I hope Hollywood burns. I hope Chuck D, Public Enemy back in the 80s. Anyway, so they can simply look at characters on a spectrum. Like I said with comic books, it's you just can look at hair color, eye color, and skin color, and you can say who the good characters are and the bad characters are, and you're going to approach. It's going to be like 95% correlation. You know, the dots on the line. It's like the line is going to be the dots are going to be almost all on the line. And so people, even these soy boy Twitter, panty sniffing perverts, they look at the Marvels and they look at, it's $16 for a ticket, and they go, I'll just see it when it comes out on streaming or something. But then they get mad at us for explaining what, my interpretation of what's going on. The other thing is, people don't like Brie Larson. She made some anti-white, racist, sexist, ageist comments about she was at some awards ceremony. And they don't give a shit about her character or the other two characters in the movie. Women did not go see this movie because women don't see action adventure without romance. People saw Captain Marvel because it was the penultimate film to the Avengers ending. And, like I said, you should have just ended it for a couple years and got new characters and restarted it or something. Women went to go see Barbie because they love Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Probably because they're just this, Aryan white stereotype. They're so white, they're glowing platinum. And of course, Barbie is one of the best known brands in history. So it's a lot of stuff going on, but like you can't ignore the obvious because it's politically incorrect to say the obvious. Like why Birds of Prey, she was in that, right? Why did that bomb? Why did women not go see Birds of Prey? Why didn't they see Charlie's Angels or Terminator or X-Women or all these other kind of chick focus flicks? Because it didn't have the romance that chicks are into. It didn't have these two beautiful people in beautiful roles. Oh, are you saying that's what women want? Yeah, I just told you that's what women want. I speak for 90% of women. Yes. And the honest ones will probably agree with me. The Marvels had no romance. It had no beautiful people involved in such. It had too much diversity and too much vagina power. People don't want that. Women don't want that. Killing the messenger does not sell tickets. And I admit that the Marvels was a way bigger bomb than I expected. I thought Brie Larson would bring in her core fan base. The thing is, it was expensive, and they spent a lot on ads, and nobody but the Marvel hardcore fans turned out for it. It has not even made 200, though I will say her milkers look fantastic in that image. If you had more of this in the movie, her prancing around, like what was Charlie's Angels in 2000 when Cameron Diaz is in her Spider-Man underwear and she's dancing around? That would have been the perfect chance for Brie Larson to do something like that. Would she have done it? I don't know how woke she is in her personal life. But if you tell her, like, hey, this is the difference between I wonder what the comments were about. This is the difference between the movie bombing and doing well as a Brie Larson dancer in underwear. She probably would have got on board with it. Anyway, so they're taking it out of the theater soon because Disney knows that it's done. And the bigger picture is Disney as a company, which has been fascinating to watch so far because they would rather make these cancerous woke movies than simply sell you what you'll pay for. Not what the woke crowd says they want on Twitter, but what they actually will pay the $15.54 in the theater. And it's not just the money, but it's like finding the energy like to get up, to get in the car, go to the theater, walk to the theater, that kind of energy. And you look at the Marvels like, yeah, I'll just wait for something else. People who are not rabbit hole explorers can't understand why Disney is literally making movies that people don't pay for. Somebody said the Marvels was a success because they made the movie for a specific audience, but that woke audience is too small to sustain an industry. The SJW Twitter kids whine about inclusion, and they mentioned, someone I was talking to mentioned Shang-Chi, and they go, the Asian market is so big, except that the Asian market didn't go see Shang-Chi. Almost nobody did. I think it just barely broke even, and it only broke even because the budget was lower than usual. The fact that they spent something like, let's get back to her milkers, which are quite nice. She's in great shape. She does YouTube fitness videos. I was watching years ago to kind of see who she was, and this girl just looks like she does not touch a carb. But the thing is, for this movie, they spent like anywhere from $275 million, and someone in the comments was going, no, they actually had reshoots, and they think it might have been more than that. That kind of money on the Marvels is insane for a grade B or grade C type of set of characters, and people remind, like, honestly, it's a grade C set of characters. People going like, Iron Man's not a grade A character, even though to me it was a comic. But like someone on Twitter is going, the characters people know are like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and maybe one other, and then Iron Man, Daredevil, Thor, Captain America. All those other characters are definitely a step down. And DC has the same kind of thing, but you go, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Photon, and Ms. Marvel, they're a step below those. So these are like grade C characters, and they're spending almost $300 million on this. And yeah, they got an English tax credit for like, I don't know, $40 million or something. So it was less, but it was still like they still spent $240 million on the movie, plus $100 million in advertising, and maybe even more on reshoots. Realistically, this should have been a $50 million movie, or it should not even have been made. So now Disney is looking at the movies coming down the pike, and they're understanding that they're going to have to dial the budgets way back. And even then, they're looking at movies that are just going to break even, because they're going to continue to make woke films. They won't change. They really don't care about money. They have a higher calling or a lower calling, really. This is a religious battle to them. And, I will say, I forget this chick's name, Ivan, Vellani or something. Way more personality than I expected. She was definitely the standout star of the movie, and they kind of should have. I don't know if they know how much people hate Brie Larson. What just a filthy cunt she is. What a total bitch. And the other chick, Photon, nobody knows who she is. Nobody cares about her. But this chick, the Kamala Khan character, was just bubbling and sparkling and fun. She really pulled off her character. So if Marvel really knew, like if they really had their finger on the pulse, they would have put her front and center. And really, you're looking at 3 POC chicks. You're going to have a very difficult time. So, and okay, wait, not only that, because the antagonist was also a POC girl. And then Nick Fury, who they race swapped, is also POC. So you're looking at all these POCs in a movie, you're like, have POC movies historically done well? Listen, bigot. Yeah, I know. Ad hominem aside, straw man aside. Kill the messenger, I get it. But have those movies typically done well? Black Panther did well because it was all one tribe of people, if you follow me. It's all one group of people. This is not. This is something different. This is just a assortment of pox walks people. Have these movies done well? No. There's a list of a half dozen movies in the past 10 years that have lost money. So let's spend $300 million on the Marvels, and that's insane. Yeah, obviously it's insane. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks to everyone who's supporting on the Subscribe Star. Thanks to Mr. Nature, and I will see you guys on the next episode.